All right, traders, watch this video for, let's see, what day will it be? Today's the 9th, 10th, 11th. Monday, February 11th. Um, First, I'm starting with this just to share a story. If you weren't in chat, let's see, this is Friday, let's see, this would have been Thursday. If you weren't in chat Thursday, my son, I'm saying maybe probably about right here, my son says, "Hey, Dad," he's 23. "Hey, Dad, I think I got a new video game for you to look up in the stock market," right? And he says, "Apex Legends, if you can find out if that's publicly traded, people are fleeing from Fortnite and rushing to Apex Legends." So I did a quick research and found out Electronic Arts, I guess, owns whatever the maker of Apex Legends is or whatever. So I tweeted something about it, and I jumped in the chat room and told everybody, "Hey, I think I got a hot video game tip for you." But I left it at that. I didn't take a trade here because, for me, there's got to be a chart setup. But anyway, I had to share this because, I was telling everybody in the chat room, if you weren't there, Apex Legends, Electronic Arts, and you know what? My son told me this. I said, hey, you couldn't have mentioned this yesterday. I could have, bought it on the earnings gap down. You guys know I don't hold overnight anyway. But I mean, all kidding aside, if I knew that Apex Legends or EA was sitting on something that was going to replace Fortnite or at least challenge Fortnite, which is all the rage, right? And then it was gapping down on earnings. That's a great combination for a swing trade, right? Anyway, long story short, the word started getting around on Friday. This was on Thursday, by the way. The word started getting around on Friday, and next thing you know, CNBC's talking about it, and it ended up doing this. So I'm not saying this to say I'm a genius. I'm saying this to say, if nothing else, I'm an idiot because I made nothing from it. But hey, hats off to my son. Little inside tip there. So, needless to say, I said to my son, I said, "Ryan, next time, next time you even get a hint that, hey, people are leaving Fortnite or Apex Legends for this one, let your dad know." Anyway, what a massive move. But to the watch list. SPY, nice bounce after coming right down into that buy zone we talk about between the 8 and the 20, right? And a nice bounce. So, and that was after a sizable gap down. So what am I watching for Monday? EGAN, big breakout. Again, it's made a huge move. I never want to teach people to chase, and I won't chase. But if this gives me a low risk setup, sometimes you get a follow through day. More often than not, you don't, and you don't even get a setup because after a big day, a lot of times the stock needs to settle in, and that's where flags are formed, right? But we'll start watching it tomorrow. Actually, we were watching it as a gap play. Unfortunately, I traded this once, and I think I made 120 bucks or something stupid like that. But it was on the gap play list. I never found a clean entry. Overstock is really still trying to break out here, and it went all the way up to 21.11 before settling in at 20.36. Going to keep watching that one. KTOS. This one is basically, let me go to, you got to go to the monthly candles to see that it's not at all-time highs, but these are weekly candles, so there's no catalyst on the chart nearby. I guess you could argue using weekly candles, a big old inverse head and shoulders or cup and handle or something. That doesn't help me. As a day trader, you can't go by a cup and handle going back 5 years or whatever, right? Having said that, pretty nice volume for this stock and a strong close. And I do like the fact that it came up, challenged this high from November, and then put in, speaking of cup and handles, put in kind of a little handle here, and then broke out. So you could kind of call this day one of a breakout on the chart. So anyway, maybe we'll get a follow-through setup on that one. MLNT, I didn't type that right. Let's try that again. MLNT has just been really strong lately. I like the fact that it topped out right at that hole number 2 on Thursday and kind of a quiet inside day on Friday. So it goes on watch. PYX, let me see. I think we traded this one. I'll find it. There we go. Traded this one, and this was the call. Wayne and I both were calling this over the highs. Had a nice seller right at the high of day. It's been a recent high flyer, and that was the call right there. And you see a couple people. I mean, more than a couple. I just captured that screenshot real quick. A couple people traded it, and it looks like the daily chart was good, by the way. It hit the 200-day here, back down, and then right back up to the 200-day. So this one's got a lot of shorts in it. It could really go. Also, this is what I get for leaving early. The chat room got one more trade in it. So if you were there, congrats. I know you guys traded this through 18 with 10 minutes left. You guys know me with 10 minutes left on a Friday. I was already 30 miles from home. But congrats on those who traded it. Anyway, back to like 60-minute candles. It's holding up really well. And the daily's pretty interesting. Check on earnings, though. There's been 3 or 4 different earnings dates thrown around in the chat room. And so it's almost like one of those that nobody knows when the heck earnings are. But I do want to know that. It's certainly setting up nice for another move higher. This is a stock that can really move when it moves. So it'll be on the watch list. Man, I can't type this morning. Afternoon, sorry. You can tell I slept in today. TPNL, big breakout on Thursday. Started to sell off on Friday and then closed back up near its high. So this is really extended. But because of the move it made on Thursday, I'm going to see if it gives a setup on Monday, right? You generally don't want to trade something that's that extended. But, for a trade, could set up. Roku, we had this on Bounce Watch coming into Friday. If you weren't in chat, this is how we called it. I should say this is how I called it. It gapped down, popped, and put in its early high here and flagged because of its daily chart, because of its recent big move. I love this over the high of day, right? So called it right there. And there was your over the course of, let's see, the 2-minute candle. So in 4 minutes, it went up, 70, 80 cents. Really nice trade there. But check this out. It ended up never stopping out and then ended up closing at its highs. And so now, let's see, 15-minute candles. You kind of have a little, maybe an inverse head and shoulders setting up here. That might not be accurate. I don't know. It's kind of a sloppy one. But anyway, back to the daily. You did get, this flush down to that buy zone after this big breakout, and now it's curling back up. So I do think it should be on watch again. Riot. You don't see Riot on my watch list too often. Actually, I noticed this, maybe 4 or 5 days ago. I said, hey, this Riot daily chart starting to look good. And that was on this day when it was kind of sitting up here at that time of day. And then I guess Bitcoin got a pop on Friday. And so a lot of these old Bitcoin plays are moving a little bit. But Riot might have a follow-through day. It's got great support below. And you could call this day one of a breakout of this range down here. So I think this one and any other old Bitcoin stock you can remember are probably all worth watching. But keep your eyes on Bitcoin itself if you're trading any of these. Don't love the way that thing trades, but still worth watching. FET, big volume spike and a pretty strong close. Watch that one for a follow-through on Monday. TRVN. This one's interesting too. Had a big pop, pulled back, another rip, but then closed at its lows, and it's kind of trotting along sideways. So it might get, you notice never broke its early high on Thursday or Friday. If it can, my favorite setup on something like this on a recent strong stock, would be a sideways move and then an afternoon high of day break out of a fairly tight consolidation. I have no idea if it's going to do that, but that's my favorite thing I would look for on that setup. And then this is, what's the word I'm looking for? Obscure, dangerous, ill-advised. I think of any other caution words, but worth watching. You had this, I want to say crazy move, but I think the better term would be stupid move from 401 to 1139 on an intraday basis. Probably because of this recent reverse split. I think somebody said this was the old AMMA. I don't know if that's true. I had a big pop here, and then now you've got 3 days lower on declining volume. So this is one, it's in that buy zone. This is one that if it trades in a narrow range, and by the way, down to 160,000, it's 116,000 on Friday, but if it could trade in a narrow range and then break to the upside, you might get a little mini squeeze here. So I do think as a day trader, it's worth having on the chart, right? One other thing I want to share, and I only post this because I'm proud of it. This is my 2019 equity curve so far. This was, January 1st, and each one of these little things is a trade, not a day. So I've had a couple hiccups along the way, but sitting at highs for 2019. What are we? We're only 5 weeks in or something like that. But I like to show this every now and then. If anything, most people who are wanting to become professional traders will look at this and think big deal, right? I want to see a $20,000 day, right? As you see posted on Twitter a lot. For me, I could get a lot more subscribers if I were to post big numbers. Let's go back to the SPY here. if I were to post big numbers every night, if I were to take huge positions and just go for that, that big 5 or 6 digit gain in one day, I'd be flooded with signups the next day, because that's the mentality of a lot of people entering the stock market, right? They want to see big gains, and then they get to have that, when you go to buy a lottery ticket and Powerball's up at like 400 million. And so you buy the lottery ticket thinking of all the things, how your life is going to be changed. That's what, sadly, most people who want to become day traders, that's what attracts them, is a big number. And then they immediately think, how quickly I could be out of this life that I have that sucks, I hate this job. And man, I could just, if I could get a day or two like that, could absolutely change my life. And so what they do is they chase trading services, chat rooms, just like they would chase a stock. They want to see the biggest number is where I'm going to join. Man, I could make an hour-long video about some of these people that post the big numbers, right? I always contend that if you enter trading with a gambling mentality, with that Las Vegas casino mentality, right? I'm going for the big one. You're probably not going to be trading very long. And so this, back to my equity curve, this is what I'm most proud of. This is what I teach, right? This is slow, steady gains. And you can tell just by, this is every trade I've taken in 2019, you can tell that I protect the downside, and I'm a slow, steady grinder, right? Every once in a while I have a hiccup, and it takes me many, many trades just to get back to new highs for the year. But the hiccups happen kind of quickly, and then the slow grind higher again. And the hiccups almost always happen if I slightly break a rule, or I trade too big or whatever, and then I'm reminded, okay, go back to basics. And again, it's not just highs for the year. My account's at all-time highs, and it's all by implementing a defense-first mentality, looking for the proper entry, so I should be green right away. You hear me talk about trading inflection points and all that stuff. Focusing on everything that I teach people to do, that is what results in that slow grind higher. So if you enter trading and you want the big 5-figure, 6-figure days, and you're new at trading, you've got the wrong mentality. It is, you hear the old cliche, it's a marathon, not a sprint. That is absolutely true. And if you learn the actual skill of day trading, it can support you for the rest of your life. And you can do it for the rest of your life, or you can jump in, gamble, and then just become one of the statistics that day trading has wrecked people, and they have to go back to the grind. All right, I am absolutely done babbling. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, and we'll see y'all on chat on Monday.